is you want to basically do this. So let's practice for now, just injecting. I guess you can get that queen to your third. Yeah, wait for all three to pop. Okay, so just then you scrolled over and inject. That's the habit we want to completely eradicate. Now, what I want you to do as well is focus on the macro cycle. So for now, you can just chill, wait for that queen to pop out. Take a look at your document. Just chill, let the game sit, hands off the keyboard and mouse kind of thing. So the macro cycle is really important, right? Basically, it's something you want to do every 30 seconds. Why? Because 29 seconds or 30 seconds is the length of an inject cycle, right? So you want to, every 30 seconds, have all your injects synced up. Preferably, in some messy situations, they won't be, but they'll always end up resyncing because you stick to a macro cycle. And this saves you time, right? So the macro cycle, bam, every 30 seconds, you go back and you do your other injects. You do not spend the lava that is sitting out there. That's always something which draws people, and they're like, there's lava, I've got to spend it. Nope. Always get the next round of injects started straight away so there's no downtime. And then immediately start spending your lava on units, whether it's drones, fighting units, doesn't matter. It's just production, right? You've got to build stuff. And you always save the last few lava for overlords. So then you build overlords right after that. So every 30 seconds, you go home, you go zoom main inject, zoom natural inject, zoom third inject, build units off all my hatcheries, save the last few lava, build some overlords. Bam. Go back to doing all your other things. So this is what defines Zerg macro and Zerg play, is this cycle. Excuse me. Terran players also have a macro cycle. It's a little bit less tightly defined as the Zerg one because they've got more add-ons to swap around and that sort of stuff early on, and more upgrades they need early on. Protoss, as soon as you get to high level, you don't have any macro cycle because there's a lot of the time where you're just not spending your money constantly because they want to be much more specific with what units they build. But even early on, Protoss players want to use a macro cycle. So you want to wrap everything up in this cycle when you start out within 10 seconds, as you improve within 5 seconds, and you'll see pro gamers do it in even less than that. And that leaves you the other 25 or 20 seconds out of every 30 to scout around the map, to drop some tech structures, start some upgrades, take a new base, micro around, harass, whatever the hell else you want to do. But the aim is then always to have that timer ticking in the back of your head, and then bam, jump back, inject, build units, build overlords. And this is so important because if you don't use this, and this is 90% of players up until they get to like Diamond League, your macro is just going to be all over the place because you're going to inject a hatchery, build some units, build an overlord. Oh, I've got to inject my natural, build some units because I've got to spend that lava. Oh, I forgot to inject my third base. Because you're doing everything haphazardly, it basically slows you down and you end up spending about 20, 22 seconds out of every 30 just macroing, and you have no time to do anything else. So tightening up this cycle is basically the key to making everything beautiful for you and allowing you to spend your money efficiently. So you ready to try your first macro cycle?
Sure.
Awesome, have a go at it. So remember, use those camera hotkeys and have a go.
So I'm just running through like this.
Yep. And now build units. So you want to spend all your lava and you want to save the last few for overlords. Let's just build drones, doesn't matter, or zerglings, doesn't really matter. And remember the last few for overlords. So you want to build those overlords. Awesome. So that's a macro cycle. Well done. As you progress, obviously you'll start building 6, 7 overlords at a time as you have more economy. Early on, it started at 1 overlord, then 2 overlords, then 3 overlords. It's not tightly defined, but just generally that's how it'll work. Now, you didn't hotkey those eggs, so let's hotkey these zerglings, and now let's try another macro cycle, except this time we'll hotkey the eggs. So just zoom between these bases. All right, so let's build a whole bunch of zerglings, saving the last few lava. Of course, hotkey those eggs. And then you want to be building overlords after that. All right, so did you hotkey those eggs? I think you did.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so this exercise is literally the best thing you can do. Hop into an empty custom game, get this set up, and do this for 20 minutes each day until your brain is leaking out your ears from boredom. But 20 minutes of boredom is not that much because you'll only have to do this for a week and everything here will become second nature. You do it for 2 weeks and you get bonus points. You'll feel great on ladder after that. So you can still go ladder and mess yourself around, but even on ladder, I don't want you to revert. I want you to use the same mechanics. And what that means is you're going to suck. I want you to get demoted to Gold League. And I know that sounds outlandish and ridiculous, but I think you're so good with certain tactics and certain maneuvers that you've kind of overcompensated with your aggressive play, and your core mechanics and macro and spending is lagging way behind. So we actually want you, while you're learning this, to perform at way lower than your peak level. And that's part of learning. So you might even drop 400 or 500 MMR, but as long as you stay focused on executing these mechanics properly, you're going to jump way back up once that's over. So it'll be a process where detach your ego from your MMR. It means nothing. This is you just learning. And that's really hard for a lot of people. But if you can do that, you will learn. It'll be 1 week you drop down. The next week you already start climbing back up very rapidly. And you'll very quickly be back where you were. And hopefully then go far beyond that point. So a week or so of okay, my MMR sucks, that's fine. So yeah, let's go through another cycle now. Let's just practice that out. And like I said, 20 minutes of just grinding this is going to be so useful. Getting used to these macro cycles. And you'll feel really good at it after a few days. You'll feel friggin' Gosu. Try to always inject in order as well. So try not to get haphazard. Try to always go main, natural, third, because you want it to be like so automated that you don't even have to think. And the great thing is once you get good at that, you'll be watching your minimap every time you're doing a macro cycle. You'll glance at the bottom to see how many lava you have, and that's it. You'll look down and you'll be like, yeah, that's how many lava I have. Save a few for overlords. And you're watching a minimap. Like, there's a drop coming. There's a banshee coming. And it's because it's always the same thing. The moment a game gets messy, you're like losing queens and pulling drones back and forwards, everything becomes 1,000 times harder, even for pro gamers. And it's because you lose this pattern. But in a game where there's no distractions, where your opponent isn't pressuring you, this is the key to getting ahead of them just with your core strong spending, efficient spending, so that you can have the free APM to do other things, great scouting, harassment, whilst doing all this. So this is going to be really awesome. So I
have a kind of a small question for you.
Yep.
So I inject. I go to second inject, third inject, then select bunch of Zerglings, control select, add to group 1, 2 again, select the overlords and just like click the mini map for the overlords. Where do I send that?
Yeah, anywhere to the back area. I usually use the mini map, but if you just want to click on your screen, like at the top of your screen somewhere, like just behind the hatcheries generally is a good spot. For your first 4 or 5 or 6 hatcheries in the early game, you want to do what you've already done, where you spread them out on the map. Obviously, it's different for each matchup. But after that, yeah, you basically you build your round of overlords, click them to the back on the mini map or on the screen. You're looking already really good with this. So it's something where, like I said, it takes just a boring kind of bam, doing this over and over again, and it's a little bit boring, but that's kind of just teaching your hands to get used to it. It's really funny because
Mineral field.
I feel like any skill that involves any coordination or physical action, once you get the habit of learning mechanics in StarCraft, well, it carries over to a lot of other disciplines and things as well, because you're like, oh yeah, if I just sit there and practice this for 20 minutes each day for a week, I'll actually have all the basics down. And it kind of, yeah, it's just that investment of time in an organized fashion, which makes everything great. So when you do start hopping onto ladder, say you do 20 minutes of practice, you want to grind a few ladder games, what do you do in terms of your build order? Well, while you're still getting used to this, you need to keep shit really basic. So what I want to do as guidelines is just always do the same fast third build, drone up, hard, off anywhere between 3 and 6 queens. Try to just be pretty consistent between the matchups, and then pump roaches, lings, banes from 5 minutes basically. You can then choose to, squeeze in. You can then squeeze in a big round of drones, finish saturating your 3 base fully, then just non-stop units, and only take new expansions to send workers to. So even for you, getting to 3 base saturation is going to be a bit of a test at first. So some games, when you're first getting used to it, you might want to just, I'm writing this in your notes, when getting used to it, just mass units and try to kill them. Try to kill your opponent. The focus is on smooth, constant macro cycles whilst hammering at them. And sometimes you'll attack into a terrible position and you'll just die. Sometimes you will just whittle them down because they can't handle dealing with your fighting while macroing. Whereas you're kind of like, set up the attack, okay, there's not much more micro I can do, go back and macro. You'll start to do cool little things, like every game before you engage, stop a bit further back from their base. Do a macro cycle, then go in. Obviously that way, you have less downtime on your macro due to focusing on the engagement. You're always going to miss up a bit of macro when you're microing, right? When you're focusing on engagements.
Yeah.
But if you pause just outside their base, do a macro cycle, then say you micro for a full minute, you've only missed out on 1 cycle there. It's not too bad. So it actually works out really well. So yeah, I think really simplifying things. And like I said, I want you to dip back down into Gold League while you focus on this.
Okay.
If you don't actually get demoted, of course, it's not the end of the world. I'm not like, you need to get demoted. But I do want your MMR to drop quite a bit.
Okay.
And I think 20 minutes a day of this patient play, then a bunch of grinding out a pretty generic build order while continuing to focus on this stuff. Even if you just ladder like an hour or 2, 5 days a week or something like that, I think you'll get the hang of it within a week and you can start, going off in your own directions in terms of how you're playing the matchups. And we can start working more as well in the future on pushing you down certain build orders. You can go back and focus on your Ling Bane build order in Zerg vs. Zerg and that sort of thing. But I think really eliminating distraction and just focusing on these mechanics is probably going to be our most important process. So anyway, let's show me another macro cycle, go through one more. And remember, you're going to do this and you're going to be tempted to do it really lightning fast. Whatever you do, don't do that. Because this is the same with children when they're learning instruments. Myself, especially when I was learning piano when I was younger, is I would always try to play it too fast. And you basically ruin your muscle memory because you make mistakes and it slows you down more. So, and this was the same when I was learning the core. I'd get really impatient and I'd start clicking too fast and trying to do my actions faster than I could actually handle it. And I'd start making mistakes more and it would kind of screw up the mechanics. So don't be afraid to start out kind of slowly and calmly as long as you're doing the mechanic, consistently. And you'll find that if you're actually clean and consistent in your actions, you don't need to click lightning fast. You don't need to move your mouse around lightning fast until you're at that, that Grandmaster level. And even then, there's Grandmaster players with 100 APM. Elfie used to have like 70, 80 APM and used to be a really good pro gamer for such a long time because he was always very concise with what he did. So I think this is pretty good. But yeah. Just take your time with it. Really make sure you're doing it perfectly. Try not to get impatient. At the same time, at the end of doing this for 20 minutes straight, you will be bored shitless and you will be really keen to get on ladder. Just make sure when you get on ladder, you keep your game plan very simple. Don't overthink things. Keep it on a mechanical, sort of meaty front-on army focus. Don't get too distracted. And yeah, I think that should be pretty awesome. So let's check. How long have we been on this session and what can we focus on next? Have I missed something key is going to be important. So we've still got a bit of time. Let me see. Yeah, we started like what, 5 minutes 2, so we've still got about 10 minutes left. Awesome. No worries. Okay, so
that's fine. We can I think I need to work on this, Pig, because this is going to be the foundation for everything else. So we'll probably end up running along one day or something. So I'm good to stop here.
All right. I'm just a bit spacey because I've been up for a long time this morning. I got up at like 5 a.m. and watched a lot of replays. So I'm just like looking at the notes and I'm like, have I forgotten anything important? I don't think so. If I remember anything, I'll message you. I'll let you know. Otherwise, likewise, if there's anything you're missing or you want to bring up, let me know as well. Maybe someone in chat has a good suggestion. But yeah, this is really important practice for anyone out there who's not got all the streamlined hotkeys and mechanics and wants to get used to them. This sort of practice is golden for you guys watching on stream as well. So yeah, I think all the notes are there. So definitely follow that regimen. 20 minutes a day, it's written down. Go through the camera hotkeys, do exactly what we've just done here. And you can start to practice other things as well, like deselecting mechanics. So just very quickly, let's run through that actually. Using your hotkey of Zerglings, I think you know how to use deselecting mechanic to split off scouts, right? From your hotkey. Do you know what I mean when I say that?
So actually, you're talking about actually selecting and then like shift 3 and then moving them.
Oh, that's cool. So that's splitting up your army. What I actually mean is if you put those back together in your main army control group, so you can just box them in shift 1. Or, is using, but it's also called cloning, which is basically, the reason that is you give everyone an order. So just listen to the theory, close your eyes if you can try to envision this. So you're giving everyone an order, and then you're deselecting one of them so that he keeps the order, and then you're remaking your control group and removing the order. And this sounds like a roundabout way to give an action, but it's important because it allows you to both remove the unit from the hotkey while saving actions. So did that kind of make sense?
No, I don't understand what you're saying at all.
Good.
I don't
Thank
know.
you for being honest. Because honestly, it's mind-boggling. All right, so let's run you through this real quickly. This isn't important for you to practice yet, but it will be down the line. So, okay, so you've got 47 Zerglings. Now, what I want you to do is see the enemy's third base, so the base in the bottom left of the map, right?
Okay.
I'm going to run you through a sequence of actions, that's it, to get you to send a single Zergling there using this control group. So move your map to the corner of the screen. I want your screen. No, I want your screen to be in the corner of the map, bottom right, somewhere way away from what we want to actually be doing, because you're not going to use your screen at all. And that's important for you to get used to this. So what you're going to use is your wireframe. So that's where all the little pictures of the green Zerglings are, and your mini-map. So just, first of all, don't even think about it. Just follow the exact actions I tell you to do. I want you to right-click your Zerglings down into that base I was talking about. So just on the mini-map. Now I want you to hold down Shift, and I want you to left-click on one of those little green Zergling pictures. Tell me when you've done that.
Mineral field.
I did it.
Yep. Now I want you to let go of Shift. So it's just, you were just holding it for that action. You're now pressing Control 1 to reaffirm your control group, and you're clicking your Zerglings back to where they were originally. Now what you'll notice is on the minimap, you can see that one Zergling split off, and it's no longer on your control group. So what you've done is you've said, everyone, go to that third base. You get off my selection, recreate my control group, go back. And that one Zergling that you removed keeps the order. Everyone else goes back.
I've been shift clicking and then reboxing, so I wasn't using the control. One.
Okay. Yep. So this is better because it allows you to use just the wireframe, so it's really consistent. It's always in the same position. You don't have to click on screen on moving Zerglings or anything like that. So the sequence of actions, and I'm going to write it down for you, and this is for you to practice later on.
Oh, this is good.
Yeah, this is really sexy. So deselecting / cloning. And what you want to do is you do this when you send like 8 Zerglings out on the map. You'll sometimes see a program just put Zerglings everywhere. They'll do this all in one action. They'll go, everyone go there, deselect. Everyone go there, deselect. Everyone go there, deselect. Don't try that yourself just yet. But you can try, just keep sending out individual Zerglings. Yep, Control 1 afterwards. This is beautiful. You're already getting the hang of it. So now I want you to practice doing it with 3 different bases. Just choose 3 different bases. So, and you do it all in one go. You go, everyone go to that base, deselect Zergling. Everyone go to the next base, deselect Zergling. Everyone go to the next base, deselect Zergling. And then come back. So you did it there, but you did it in a slightly less efficient manner. What you can do is with the Control 1, save it till the very end. So you can get rid of every Zergling and then just do one Control 1 at the very end of that. You were regrouping after every Zergling. So try it one more time. but just
So-
save your control 1 until the very end of the sequence.
So shift that, control 1, and that will do it.
Beautiful.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Why does that work?
So what you've done there, and it's really confusing if you haven't done it before. And oh my god, I used to have such a nightmare trying to explain this to people the first few times I was trying to coach someone. I was like, I don't know how to say this. So basically, you've got a sequence of actions, right? So what you're doing is, and I'm writing it on your. It'll be easier in list form. So I'm going to put this up on screen for the stream to comprehend as well. Here we go. So here's the deselect and cloning mechanic, guys. So you can see the document, right, Dustin?
I'm going to look at it later.
Okay, no worries. Well, I'm going to write out the list anyway. So basically it says, everyone go here. Everyone go here. Deselect a ling. Deselect a ling. Sorry. It's everyone go here, deselect a ling. Everyone go here, deselect a ling. Everyone go here, deselect a ling. So you're basically saying, everyone go here, that one guy keeps the order. Everyone goes here, that guy keeps the order. Everyone goes here, that guy keeps the order. So you've still got your selection minus each of those individual Zerglings you've sent to different locations. And then at the end, you're reconfirming your control group with what's remaining in your selection. So because you've deselected all of those individual Zerglings to each specific order, they're all gone. It sounds very complicated. Realistically, you don't actually need to understand the sequence of actions. You just need to understand that it works. But once you see the list, it should make a little bit more sense. So let's go back into game and try that out a few more times. So you can just choose 3 bases wherever, and you can try out that sequence of actions one more time. Okay, so it looks like you split off 2, 3 Zerglings. Yep, I think they're all going to different locations.
Mineral
Find out.
field.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Splitting off these Zerglings all to different places. And you're doing it so fast as well. Beautiful. That's great. That makes me so happy. And what's really cool as well is, guys, on the stream, I'm back on his camera now. Dustin's doing all of this from this corner of the minimap. Just using the minimap and the wireframe is like, these are such beautiful tools. They just save you so much APM. There's a lot of times someone will be watching a stream, and I can always tell when it's someone who's starting to pay attention to the mechanics but doesn't quite know all these shortcuts yet. And they'll always comment on like Beyond or someone's stream, like, wait, how did those units like get off that hotkey? Or how did those units get there? Because it happens so lightning fast, you can barely even see it. But people will just go bam, 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 you know, shit's deselected, and there's units suddenly going in 4 different directions. And you're like, what just happened? But once you've done it yourself, you realize, wait, this is something I'm going to do every game to send Zergling Scouts out. I'm going to get good at this really fast. So anyway, I don't need you to focus on that too much. If you want to say 15 minutes of the other stuff, last 5 minutes, grab all the Zerglings you've spent your mechanics practice building and just grind this out. Practice sending Zerglings all over the map. Go for it. If you want to be hardcore and learn that mechanic as well. Otherwise, you can save that one until after you've got the other mechanics down, because they are more important for now. But either way, awesome. This is going to be a great start, man. So I will let you go now. Lots of grinding practice for you to work on, and it should be awesome.
I'm going to get real bad. I'm going to do my best.
Yes, that's it. I want to see a screenshot of your demotion to Gold League. I get to share that. I normally share people's promotions when they send me a screenshot, but this will be the first time I'll be like, yes, mechanics practice. Milkman has made it from Platinum to Gold League thanks to my coaching. We'll have a testimonial. You can write one up and I can put it on a website about how shit I am as a coach. It'll be great.
All right, thanks so much for your help. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. So yeah, this will lose a little bit of the fun. Final warning, for a few days. Once you start getting a bit more comfortable, you're going to find the game smoother and you're going to love it. So good luck, man.
Okay, thanks so much.
Awesome. All right, have a good one. I'll catch you later, bro.
Take care.
Awesome. Okay. I haven't done a mechanics session like this before for a long time. So that's why I was umming and ahhing so long. So if you're watching the VOD, Dustin, it's good. It just took me a while to come to grips. Yes, we just need to do this. We just need to grind out these mechanics. I need to show you firsthand because there's so many of these little details which are very hard to pick up on. And it's also kind of BM of me when I'm coaching someone to be like, go watch my 1.5 hour daily where I talk about fundamentals of StarCraft. Apparently this game's so accessible that you need to You need to fucking watch an hour and a half video in order to use the controls properly. I really should redo that video and make it better, make it faster and shorter. It's got so many views already though, so I'm like, maybe I should just leave it. It does go through the important points, but I have like a horrible throat thing when I'm doing the show, and it's just drawn out, so it was a little bit all over the place. But anyway, thanks guys for hanging out. I really appreciate the support. I'm surprised there's so many people here watching. If you guys want to see the notes, I don't mind sharing that. I can throw that in a general document for you guys if you want. I mean, I'll just let you guys screenshot it. You all have print screen buttons. So if you want the notes, this is it. So that's mechanics practice. A note there. You've had plenty of time to print screen, and here is the deselecting cloning mechanic. I haven't actually written the controls in there, but hopefully you guys can remember what they are. I'm a little bit lazy. So hopefully you've had time to print screen that as well. Awesome.